What's going on, YouTube? Cadillac is in the middle of a major product push, and this all-new XT4 is one of the most important pieces. It not only fills out their crossover lineup, but it also now serves as the entry point into the entire Cadillac brand. This particular XT4 is the sharply styled sport model, finished in the beautiful $1,200 Red Horizon paint color. And of course, we do want to especially thank our friends at Quantrill Cadillac for giving us access to it. If you're in the market for any new Cadillac, be sure to stop by their dealership or visit them via their website, which we provided a link to in the video description. So with that all said, let's go ahead and see if Cadillac has a winner on their hands. So like always, starting out with the outside, the XT4 is the first Cadillac to come with the latest evolution of their art and science design theme. It is also the first Cadillac to roll out their so-called Y trim structure, which gives you both sport and luxury styling groups to choose from. Like I already mentioned, this is the Sport, which gets you a black mesh grille as opposed to the silver accented mesh on the luxury and premium luxury. Additionally, the lower grille is finished in silver for the premium luxury only. Now turning over to the headlights, all models have Cadillac's signature vertical lights, which are fully LED. However, only the Sport will come standard with the more advanced cornering lamp setup. Moving to the side, this is where things get weird for the XT4. Not for the styling, but for the actual size of the vehicle. This is a bit of a tweener between segments, so you could really consider it either a big subcompact crossover or a small compact crossover. Now the closest vehicle I could find to it size-wise is the Lexus NX, and for those of you wondering, it's about 8 inches shorter than the XT5. Heading around to the rear, the design departs quite a bit from the Cadillac norm, with taillights that go vertically down the sloped back and then also curve inward as they terminate. Obviously they are fully LED, but the clear lenses you see are exclusive to the Sport. And then down at the bottom, every model will come with dual horizontal exhaust outlets. Now one other thing to mention while we're here is that the XT4 can match the XT5's 3,500 pound tow rating when it's equipped with the trailering package. So overall, Cadillac has designed a very eye-catching and distinctive crossover, which is exactly what it needed to do to make a splash in the segment. Now probably the most attention-grabbing part of the design are these really flashy wheels. Every trim comes standard with smaller 18-inch alloys in various finishes, but you can option on 20s like these 5-spoke diamond cut alloys. The premium luxury has its own 20-inch 9-spoke alloys, but all 3 trim levels can add 2 20-inch accessory wheels. Moving on to the mirrors, the standard setup is heated and power adjusting, but you can add power folding and driver's side auto dimming to the top trims. Additionally, blind spot monitoring is included standard on all but the base model. Now on the topic of safety, the XT4 has plenty of active safety features, though you will have to pay extra for them. The advanced safety systems are not available on the base model, so you have to option them on to either the Sport or the premium luxury. On those trims, they're split between 2 different packages, with the driver's awareness package adding low-speed emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, and auto high beam headlights. Adaptive cruise control and full-speed front and rear auto braking are included in the driver's assist package. And as of this time, Cadillac's autonomous driving Super Cruise system is not available. Finally, the last thing to check out is the fuel tank, which is 15.9 gallons with front-wheel drive and 16.3 gallons with all-wheel drive. That makes the fuel ranges 413 and 391 miles with front and all-wheel drive respectively. Premium fuel is recommended, but not required. Well, that pretty much covers the stylish exterior. So now let's go ahead and see if the cabin has as much pizzazz. So unlike a lot of the German competition, you do get standard intelligent entry as well as a standard remote start system. Now to get inside the vehicle, there is no sensor behind the handle, so you just press this little button. Alright, so checking out the cabin of the brand new XT4. As you can see, it combines a lot of the characteristics you see in our recent Cadillacs, but with a little bit more of a sporty vibe. This, of course, is the Sport, but there are a lot of different ways you can get the XT4. So on your luxury and your Sport, you're going to start out with leatherette seating. And then going up to the premium luxury is going to get you leather. However, the Sport can option on real leather as well, which is what we have right here. Now, as far as your color options, the luxury is locked into light platinum only. The Sport gets jet black, light wheat, or a Sedona color when you go out for the real leather. And then on the premium luxury, you have jet black, light platinum, or Sedona choices. Now turning over here to your door trim, it is nicely appointed. So you've got a leatherette material that goes through the entire armrest area, as well as all the top part. Additionally, here on the Sport, we have a carbon fiber trim piece as well. Additionally, you will find two-person memory seating on your premium luxury and Sport models. And then your front two windows are one-touch auto up and down, and the back ones just auto down. You do have aluminum pedals on the Sport trim. Now turning to the seat here, all models will come standard with an 8-way power adjusting seat. However, on the Sport, you can also get the additional adjusting side bolsters, which we have, as well as 4-way lumbar support and the massaging function that comes in the comfort and convenience package. And then, like I already mentioned, this is real leather. It feels really soft and supple, and I absolutely love the look of it. It's basically a white color, but then you also have the contrasting piece right here, so it just really looks visually stunning. So like I was saying, it does share quite a bit in terms of styling with other Cadillac models, and the same goes for the materials. So across your upper dash, you've got a soft touch plastic with some color contrast stitching through it, and then dropping down to the middle portion, you have more of that soft touch leatherette material with stitching. Additionally, you've got some carbon fiber trim, another layer of leatherette material, and then dropping down to your lower area, this is also covered in leatherette for your knee to touch against, as well as this whole area here. And everything does fit together very well also. Now standard across all models is push button start. When you press it, you will see the 8-inch touch display fire up. That is also standard across all trims. Now coming over here to your gauges, this is actually the basic setup. So you've got 2 analog gauges, and you've got a 4.2-inch multi-function display in the middle, and then a little speed readout above it. Now if you go for the technology package, you can actually replace this with an 8-inch reconfigurable gauge cluster. But nonetheless, this does have the standard affair of options, like most GM vehicles, so you've got your phone, navigation, audio, and all the standard affair of things. Additionally, if you did go for that technology package, you would also have a head-up display. Now coming back to the steering wheel, it does of course have electric power assisted steering, and as you would expect, all models do come with a leather wrapped steering wheel. As far as your buttons up here, this is just your standard affair of cruise control, voice and phone commands, and we do also have the heated steering wheel that comes in the cold weather package. Additionally, you will find rain sensing wipers on all but the base luxury model. Now as far as the wheel itself on this model is manually tilt and telescoping. However, if you go for that aforementioned technology package, it would be replaced with power adjustment. So moving on to interior storage, the Cadillac XT4 actually does very well for a vehicle of this size. Starting out over here at your center console, when you open it up and remove this little tray, you will see that it is exceptionally deep. This is definitely much larger than I expect to see in rival vehicles. And you do have a nice felt lining throughout the whole thing as well. Additionally, you've got a 12-volt outlet. And you can use this pad right here for wireless phone charging, so you just can drop this right down like that, and you'll still have access to your phone. Right up here, you've got your 2 cup holders, and you can slide this back to reveal a second tray, also very deep and nicely felt lined. And that houses a regular USB, a USB Type-C, and a second 12-volt outlet. And finally, you've got a nice storage cubby here on both sides of the tunnel, which is a good place to stick extra stuff. Now, Cadillac has been able to give us this much storage probably because they've switched to this electronic shifter. The operation of this is pretty similar to the XT5, but it's a little bit revised. Now for drive, all you have to do is just press in on the side and pull straight back, and you can bump back once more to put it in manual mode where you can shift the paddle shifters. To go in reverse, you just do the opposite procedure. And when you do, you will find a standard backup camera across the board. It does come with active trajectory as well. Now, if you had the technology package, which this model does not, we would have a 360-degree camera system instead. And then for park, you're just going to press the P. The electronic parking brake is actually located over here. As far as the other buttons back here behind the shifter, we do have the mode. This is going through our drive modes. On this model, we've got touring, all-wheel drive, and sport modes. And then this button here defeats our auto start-stop system, which is something that recent Cadillacs have been adding back since the previous models used to not be able to defeat the auto start-stop system. We do have a controller here with some shortcut buttons. And then right up here, we've got your volume knob for your audio system. So every trim of the XT4 does come standard with a 7-speaker sound system. However, if you go for the navigation system, which is $1,500, you also have a 13-speaker Bose premium sound system thrown in. But we have the standard sound system, so let's go ahead and take a sample of that. Overall sound quality is not too bad for a basic system. Alright, so the next thing up the dash here is our climate control system. So every version of the XT4 does come standard with a dual zone automatic climate control system. You just control it with these this row of beautiful aluminum switches. You just click up to adjust the temperature. It does appear right there as well as on the screen above it. And all your controls are conveniently located right here in one spot. Additionally, you've got your 3-stage heated seats and 3-stage ventilated seats. Now the heated seats, they come in the cold weather package, and that is an option across all the trims. However, the ventilated seats, they come in the comfort and convenience package, and that's only an option on the top 2 trims. But anyways, now that brings us up here to our Cadillac CUE system, so let's go ahead and take a quick look. Now this is the home screen, where you can swipe over to your applications, or you can click on different things to expand them. So I can click into this, and I go into my audio. Now I'm currently connected through Bluetooth audio, so I can play and pause from here. And I've also got my other sources located over here that I can switch between. Additionally, you do have all your radio presets across the top, and you could swipe between them if you have more than one set. Now, one of the nice things about this system is that you've got shortcut buttons that are always present across the bottom. So we can quickly go into phone, for example. Now you've got your standard stuff like your keypad, but you've also got your contacts, which sync over from your smartphone automatically. More important than that, though, is your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. These are standard across the board on all trims, and it does allow you to have navigation functions, even though most trims of the Silverado do not have integrated navigation. That more or less covers the main features of the Chevy infotainment system, but of course we do have a more detailed tech help video available for those of you who want to learn more. A link to that is provided in the video description. Now moving on up, all models do have an auto-dimming mirror with your HomeLink universal remotes. However, if we had the enhanced visibility package, this would be subbed out for GM's rear vision camera. So that would just basically, as you've seen in other vehicles like the XT5, it just replaces this with an unobscured view fed via a camera. Now, one of the features our model is missing here is the $1,500 panoramic moonroof. It is an option across all the trims, and there is no standard size option available. So overall, I think the XT4's cabin does a really good job of completing the mission that it sets out to accomplish. This is a really fun and youthful cabin. It definitely has more space than you'd expect from a vehicle of this size on the outside, and it definitely gives you all the options that you would want in a luxury vehicle. But anyways, now I'll go ahead and hand it off to Mason, who will finish up the rest of the cabin. So heading around to the rear seat of the all-new XT4, you're going to find a really large amount of space for its class. You'll find 39.5 inches of rear legroom and 38 inches of rear headroom, which does place it above even the compact offerings like the Acura RDX and Lexus NX. Now turning over here to the door trim, it is really nicely appointed, so you do have a leather-wrapped armrest with a red stitching detail going through there, as well as some more carbon fiber trim, and a nice padded plastic above here with stitching. Now of course your window is power back here, and you do also have some door storage. Now the seat itself is that beautiful white design. It's even perforated here in the rear, and the seat itself is very comfortable. Now even though this is Cadillac's smallest crossover, they didn't skimp on the features, so all models will come standard with these rear air vents, and you will also find 2-stage heated rear seats with the cold weather package. Now in addition to that, you will also find a USB port as well as a USB Type-C. There's also a nice armrest, it does fold down, and it has some cup holders in the end. Now up top you will notice that we are missing the moonroof, which I would suggest getting because it does feel a little bit more cramped back here. And you will also have an assist grip as well as some LED lighting. And as far as rear space is concerned, like I said, this is really bigger than its class. So you do have probably, I don't know, about 5 to 6 inches of rear leg room behind rear seating position, and my feet can easily slide up under the seat. And scooting over, even with the seat scooted all the way back, my knees still are pretty comfortable and my feet can still slide up under the seat. So this is a very big offering for its class. But overall, I'm extremely impressed by the XT4's rear seat. This is a really nice place to spend time. Like I said, this is a really large offering, and there's also plenty of luxury features. Now, of course, the rear seats can fold. All you have to do is grab this little handle, and they will fold 60-40 split.
Now coming around to the tailgate, you will notice that it is power on the premium, luxury, and sport trims, or if you have the convenience package, it is also hands-free. So just wave your foot under the bumper to open. Now once inside the trunk of the all-new XT4, you're going to once again find a larger amount of space than what you would expect. You'll find 23 cubic feet behind the second row seats, and if you fold them, it will give you 49 cubic feet. Now behind the second row seats, that does actually make it larger than the Lexus NX, which is technically a class above. Now Cadillac does finish it really nicely back here, so we do have a nice carpeted floor, as well as a spare tire. And you do also have some LED lighting, as well as a nice cargo cover. And on this side, you do also have a 12-volt outlet. Now the passenger seat is that beautiful design as well, and you will also notice that it has the 6-way power adjustment across all of the trims. Now in front of the passenger, this is a luxury vehicle after all, so you do have really nice materials. You have the stitched padded plastic in front of the passenger, and like I said, it is stitched really nicely. Now down below that, the glove box is really good sized, and it is a really nice felt lining. Up top you have a sun visor with gently fading in LED lights, as well as a mirror, and it does also detach and extend. But anyway guys, that sums up all of the rear areas of the all-new XT4. So now let's go ahead and take it out on the road and see how it performs out there.
Okay, so let's talk about the powertrain. There is only one option for the XT4. It's very similar to the competition. You've got a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and that makes 237 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. That engine is paired exclusively to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and all models start out with standard front-wheel drive. However, you do have optional all-wheel drive system. Finally, for your fuel economy, you're looking at 24 city, 30 highway, 26 combined with front-wheel drive. And with all-wheel drive, it's going to drop those numbers by 2 each. So 22 city, 29 highway, 24 combined. But anyways, now let's go ahead and take it for a quick test drive. So first, taking off in the all-new XT4, I have to say it has really good pep off the line from the Turbo 4. I'm not feeling any type of significant lag or anything like that. It actually has quite a bit of power to push you back in your seat. Yeah, it feels like it has plenty of torque. And it is a small vehicle, so this engine in a smaller body is definitely going to make it perform pretty well. Also has pretty good handling there. It definitely has a balanced chassis, feels reasonably tight, especially here on the Sport model. Going across this rough road here, we'll talk about the ride quality. It's a little bit on the firmer side. As I was expecting, like I said, this is the Sport model. Additionally, we are riding on the optional 20-inch wheels, which are very
Yes.
big for a vehicle of this in this class to have a wheel like that. So just be aware that if you do choose this model and pair it with the really big and really good-looking wheels, that you are going to be sacrificing a little bit in terms of ride quality. It's certainly not horrendous or anything.
No. I mean, just riding along, it still is very quiet. I don't think the wheels don't have anything to do with, as far as like the road noise making it into the cabin, but you can feel a little bit more of the bumps. However, on the alternative side, if you're looking for a sporty crossover, then this is probably a very good option for you. A lot in this class are not very athletic, and this car definitely has a little bit of an athletic vibe to it, especially as equipped.
That's right. Sound of the car, it definitely sounds like a Turbo 4, but I kind of like that I can hear the turbo whistle. I just enjoy hearing that. It's kind of fun. It sounds kind of German in that respect, being able to hear the turbo spool up.
Yeah, that definitely is one of my favorite parts about the car. You know, like I said, it's pretty peppy, and then you can also hear it, which definitely a lot in the class do not really give you that option for.
We'll go ahead and check out the auto start stop system here. So I'll come to a stop. Alright, so we've now powered off here, and we'll see how quickly we can restart. Yeah, restart very quickly and seemed pretty smooth as well.
Yeah.
Now, another thing to mention is your 9-speed automatic transmission. During our drive here, it has behaved very smoothly. Not noticing any type of harsh shifts or anything like that. It just seems like a good, honest transmission that you'll forget about. I mean, that's really what you're looking for in this class, something that's going to be unobtrusive and go about its business, and I think this transmission definitely has done that. The last thing I'll do here is toggle into our sport mode and see what exactly that changes. We do have paddle shifters as well. And when I go into sport mode, it automatically engages into the all-wheel drive system, because normally front-wheel drive stays engaged unless needed for fuel economy's sake. Yeah, I think it definitely feels a little peppier off the line.
I think it's letting in maybe a little bit more noise.
And the steering has weighted up here to be a little bit heavier. But overall, I really like the driving dynamics of this car. It definitely has that touch of sport and athleticism that I like to see in a crossover. It makes it a little bit more exciting than just your typical bland, old, boring type of crossover. So you do have a good dose of sport to go with the family characteristics of the crossover.
Alrighty, and as far as the pricing goes for the 2019 XT4, you are going to find pretty competitive pricing. So the very base model, which is the luxury, starts at $34,795. Then you can move up to this model, which is the sport, and that is $39,295. Or you can also option for the premium luxury. They're the exact same price, so you basically pick what package you want. And then if you want to add all-wheel drive to any of those trims, it is an additional $2,500. From there, Cadillac does make you option on quite a few packages to get it fully loaded up, and this one has quite a few of those checked off. So we have the Comfort and Convenience package for $2,450. We also have this beautiful red paint, which is a $1,200 option, and we also have the 20-inch wheels, which are $1,100. Now, in addition to that, we have the cold weather package for $850, as well as the driver awareness package for $770. And then we have a $995 destination charge, which brings in this one's total to $49,185. And it is worth mentioning that this car does have quite a few packages beyond that. Obviously, you can tell that we're missing the panoramic moonroof, so this car can actually top out
there's at least $5,000 to $6,000 more of options that you can add and get close to the $60,000 mark, so you can really load this up with all the technology and stuff from GM's upper class vehicles onto this smaller package.
Well guys, we've enjoyed watching this in-depth look at the 2019 Cadillac XT4 Sport. Please hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.
Hmm.